Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
This is Sparta! Welcome to episode 300. Tonight, we dine in hell!
We don't have to take our shirts off, do we?
No, we're the other guys.
All right. Thank God.
We're the ones in the orgy.
You're that, mutant guy that betrays them
Oh, yes.
with the
Some
goofy
character.
hat. I will be the god who talks like this. Tonight, we celebrate our 300th episode with the landmark horror classic 1990 somethings,
96.
The Island of Dr. Moreau.
96.
With Marlon Brando.
And
Let's say-
Val Kilmer doing Marlon Brando.
Yes. We've got Brant, we've got Lusky, we've got Shay, we've got me. We may get Meyer. What's up, fellas?
He's lost at sea.
He's probably stoned and forgot.
Speak of evil.
There he is.
Oh!
Hello.
Right on time.
What's up, buddy? It's good to see you, man.
It wouldn't be
See
an
you too.
island of mutant misfit toys if it wasn't with Tim.
Oh,
Sure.
What's up,
Oh.
Timmy?
What's up?
I was really
Sorry, I'm
hoping you're
late.
going to make it because we need at least one genius here who thinks this is a good movie.
I'll be that guy.
there we go. He's laying it down right now. Looking forward to this.
Excellent.
fight.
Excellent.
How do you not like this movie? It's such a lovable movie.
Spoilers!
Father! All right. Before we get to the Island of Dr. Moreau, which I'm so excited to talk about this movie. Let's get to all the other fun stuff we do. Any announcements or plugs or anything like that before we get going?
I think probably Jason's got something about Kamitais.
Oh, yeah, sure. I can plug that again. I don't have the video ready, but my Kickstarter for The Last Kumite is still going strong. So if you are interested in an old school badass martial arts movie, we supposedly have signed someone else. I'll tell you guys afterwards. I don't want to say it yet. He has agreed to do the movie, but he hasn't signed yet. So hopefully that will happen. It's very exciting. So if you're interested in it, check it out. It's just The Last Kumite on Kickstarter. I think I have a link in the description this week for a change. I do. So
Is
check
it Val
that out.
Kilmer? Is it Val Kilmer?
Yes, we really want to see him in a
Coming
Kumite
off
battle.
coming off his Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going well. Adding more people. Got more stuff set up. So check it out. Help us out. There's some great tiers. In fact, if you have a lot of money and you actually want to be in a fight scene in the movie, that was a tier that was just added this week. So if you have a
What
martial
if-
arts background,
What if you don't have a lot of money and want to be in a fight scene? What are my options?
I mean, you could show up and try to get on set and get your ass kicked by security, probably.
I could do
What?
that. I can make that work.
What if I
Try.
started a Kickstarter to get me and Glenn Danzig to give you the money to fight in the movie? Can we do that?
To have Glenn Danzig fight in a movie?
Fight me. Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
I think if Glenn Danzig agreed to be in the movie, everyone would be okay with a fight scene with you and him.
Tim, I say you and me just come up here. I'll meet you halfway, and we'll just reenact the Shatner-Gorn fight from Star Trek.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll just. What about we just street fight on your street, and then Jason can film it and just like splice it into the movie somewhere
But-
randomly.
Okay,
But
as long
fighting
as we
with
do it,
lots of this.
we got to do it.
Dude.
If we're going to street fight, I say West Side Story style.
if the two of you did a street fight, the only winner would be the street. Just wear yourselves out after one punch.
That checks out.
These are all brilliant ideas.
I'm very
I
excited
have-
about this, by the way. I'm
I'm
happy for you.
I'm pumped.
Thanks.
I I have news. So for the 6 of you who have been asking for a sequel to my book, Radis New Yorkus, your dreams are coming true because it's coming to Severed Press. Hopefully sometime in May, early June.
You wrote a sequel to this? I didn't know this.
I did. It was
on
a
the docket.
Patreon exclusive. And then I was
Biggest,
like, biggest, thickest. So Manrattan is coming out.
Ratting.
My daughter came
Beautiful.
up with the title. I was like, I have to write the book. And then she said, oh, you should do a third, Rattan Island. I'm like, oh, we could just keep going.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's great.
it's like the most appropriate.
I'm waiting for Death Strand to finish reading it and give it a blurb. Because it's a very Strand-esque. It's just a lot of witty banter. So we'll see.
That's excellent. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
All right, everybody ready for the big news segment?
Yes.
Of course.
No.
All right,
Drinking
No?
words. Good.
well, we could have made that part of the
Gravy.
news, but okay. What are the drinking words? What are the
Yeah.
300th episode drinking words?
Oh God.
All right, let's go. By the way, I asked my kids, where's my 300 cake? They gave me a cupcake from a specialty cupcake store. I don't know
Ooh,
what it is. I'll be chowing onto it in a minute. Jack, if anyone hears you say the words mini, mumble, and foul, they must tip away. My words are Godfather, Science, and Lady. Jason's is David acting weird. Plutsky's are Fat Ice and Piano. Fat Ice Piano. Timmy, hair. Come on.
Always hair.
Cast and novel. And the bonus words, if any of us say Dr. Kilmer or Brando, drink up. And you're all headed for the hospital tonight if you plan to keep up. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Now you can
all
do it.
righty. Let's get to some breaking news.
It's the news. Yay.
Word on the street is Guillermo del Toro is working on a version of Frankenstein. And the people who are circling to star the movie are Oscar Isaac, Andrew Garfield, and Mia Goth.
I'm in.
Ooh,
Wow.
that sounds good.
That's quite a cast.
Now, who do you think the monster is? Andrew Garfield or Isaac?
Oscar Isaac, probably. I would
Donald
guess.
Trump. They haven't cast
Probably
him, so.
Probably that dude he always uses for everything. That skinny dude.
Couldn't one of them be Fritz?
Oh,
His assistants? Hmm?
Igor.
I always go with the original. I always like Fritz. It's much more fun to say.
What do you think? What do you think, Del Toro? What do you think of a Del Toro Frankenstein? I think that's a good. that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
I
Good
think that
place
would be
for him.
cool.
Actually, he'd be somebody I'd like to see do a version of all the Universal monsters. Let him make it old timey,
Yeah.
shared universe with all that Del Toro-y stuff. Make Benicio del Toro and him and Guillermo del Toro team up. That
Well,
would
he
be
was
awesome
supposed
as
to
well.
do Creature from the Black Lagoon a while ago. And then he did his version. His version of the fish
He
fucking.
did. He won an Academy Award for it. So
He did.
He's a huge Frankenstein fan too. Have you seen the sculptures he has in his house?
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh man, so awesome.
no, I've never seen that. Does he share that on social
He's
media?
got there's a bunch of pictures of his house. He's got a giant Boris Karloff Frankenstein head in his house, and then he's got a life-size replica of photograph of Jack Pierce putting on Boris's in the makeup chair. He's got his shirt off. I think he's holding a cup of tea or something and a cigarette. It's a big old sculpture.
I wish I had fuck you money. My house would be so bizarre.
Yeah, I'd be having all.
It would basically be like your attic, but an entire house.
The whole house with like cool, expensive stuff.
Yes.
Like the
Then I could
Forrest
get-
Packer mansion.
I could get the guy in the tux to go along with the bear and do the whole life size replica. I get the bed and everything.
You would just pay to have the guy just in your house at all times.
It'd be like that bear thing where it'd be animatronic, where he goes down and he gets up and looks, goes back down.
Or instead of naps, that's just where you go for your relief. Honey, I gotta go get my bear, BJ. I'll be back.
I don't have FU money, but my house is slowly becoming full of weird stuff like this people are sending me. This is a pillow.
Good
Oh,
lord.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
My house is being overrun by this crap.
Jesus Christ.
Also,
Can't wait till we have
thank
to
you,
clean it
Eric
out when
Parker,
we're dead.
just sent us some cheddar cheese.
Oh,
Thanks, Eric. You're the man.
Thank you, Eric. The Blu-ray will probably be out. I think they want to finish the movie next March or April. So probably shortly thereafter, you'll get your Blu-ray. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, the other piece of news I have is pretty amazing. Legendary Pictures, I don't know if remaking is the right word or rebooting, Faces of Death.
Oh.
And
No.
I think
Why?
they say his name is Dockery Montgomery, who was like the bully kid on Stranger Things, the older brother of the red-haired girl.
Yeah.
He's going to be in it, and Barbie Ferreira from Euphoria. I don't know who that is. But it's a reimagining, I guess.
There was no story. What?
It's a weird.
Here's what they said. Here it is. The new plot revolves around a female moderator of a YouTube-like website whose job is to weed out offensive and violent content, and who herself is recovering from serious trauma, that stumbles across a group that is recreating the murders from the original film. But in a story primed for the digital age and age of online misinformation, the question faces, are the murders real or fake? Is this kind of like Blair Witch 2?
Yeah, that's what it sounds.
Tim's on.
I don't know.
Sounds like a 90s movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with this yet.
I'm Faces of Death out.
I mean, I don't
never
understand
see that.
They were just like some real and some fake videos.
That's just too
Regrets.
good of a brand name for them to let the property go.
Yeah,
How much money does Faces of Death bring in a calendar year?
I guess enough
Yeah.
for them to greenlight this picture.
Well, they probably want to see what they could do with that title. You know what I mean? Reboot it, make it something totally different, and they already
Are
have
they-
name recognition.
Do a double feature with Snuff.
Honestly, the beginning of your plot description sounded exactly like that movie Censor, which I adore.
Oh yeah,
I remember back in the 90s in the phone company, we used to bring in all the Faces of Death movies and watch. The key was you had to get something red and gooey for lunch and watch it. So it was a lot of meatball parms and spaghetti and stuff. And then we were finished and we went to Traces of Death, which is just wartime footage in like Europe and just heads getting rolled over by tanks. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I don't need to see any more of this. So
Yeah,
count me
not
out.
for me.
Not for me, dog.
Okay. I'm guessing they're going to have to make the movie Crazy Gory to live up to the name or something.
will they have a CG monkey or a real monkey? That's all I want to know.
Monkey brains.
I don't know, but that's all the news that's fit to print. So let's get to what we watched.
We have such sights to show you.
Chad,
Yes.
please thrill us.
Before we had Tim on here, I watched 2 Tubi movies for everybody,
Oh,
but I'm only going to talk about one tonight. So,
so that's a tease for next week.
yes. And who knows, maybe next week we'll have 2. But this one, again, never heard of it, from 1977, made for TV movie, which I don't know about you guys, man, but made for TV movies, like thrillers and horror movies in the 70s, were gold.
Yeah.
They were freaking great movies.
We did a whole Monster Men episode about stuff like that. With
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah,
I saw it. I mean, seriously, man, some of the best TV in the 70s, horror straight to TV. This one stars Lee Grant, who's despite her hair, is pretty hot in this movie, playing a middle-aged woman who is the mother to teenage Helen Hunt, who looks about 13.
Wow.
Looking like Jodie Foster. But the
Jason
movie,
and I have no comment on that.
I do not talk about Helen Hunt anymore.
Oh
She's
yeah, you're not
awesome
allowed
mad
to.
about you.
She is great. I love her.
Animals.
You're contractually obligated.
But the movie is really about Helen Hunt's slightly older sister, who is also in high school and constantly being bullied by her peers for being fat. But honestly, by today's standards, she's not really fat. But this is back before we had 3 fast food joints on every corner.
She ain't fat. She ain't nothing.
People cooked at home more.
What was the name of it again?
Before Lizzo.
I'm sorry, The Spell.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called The Spell.
Hmm.
But back then, an extra 15 pounds on a girl in high school was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Morbidly obese.
She needed
Yeah.
to smoke some more cigarettes.
So
Which she did while she's dead now.
this movie is like The Fury meets Carrie, or like a very Cronenberg light, like Cronenberg O'Douls.
Oh.
But early on in the movie, we find out that the chubby girl has some kind of telekinetic powers that seem to be triggered by bullies, as well as her relationship with her parents, particularly her father, who pretty much says he doesn't love her because she's some kind of fat screw up. Not in those words.
Jesus.
I just realized fat was one of my drinking words. So
Wait, these girls are
Sheridan.
supposed to be in high school?
you know how it is, dude. They would hire 35-year-old women to be
The
16-year-old.
girl on the left
Yeah.
is a high school guidance counselor.
Yeah, she's on AARP.
So, but her dad is a real douchebag. We don't see this bad side of her that he complains about. So I'm not really sure. I mean, the movie, I guess, could have been longer, and maybe, the movie was only like an hour and 13 minutes or something. But
Ooh, sign me up.
Yeah.
Probably because of commercials, being made for TV. But so we're not able to relate to the dad and his problem with his daughter at all. So he babies Helen Hunt, and he just ends up looking like a dick. So while I enjoyed this movie, I'll admit to mostly getting off on the sets, the house that they live in, full 7 house plants everywhere, cool open staircase, just gorgeous. I was watching some of it with my wife, and I said, if we bought that house right there, could we just leave it exactly how it is? Like with the, she's like, yeah.
Was there
So it
wood
was like-
paneling?
Dude, that it had everything, but it was classy. It was very classy. It
Classy
wasn't
wood
like,
paneling.
no, it didn't have wood paneling, but it had dark wood in some of it. It was a great house. There's a couple great houses, cool restaurant. Yeah. So anyway, this movie has the best spontaneous combustion scene ever. And had I seen this on TV in '77 when I was 7 years old, I wouldn't have been able to sleep for a few nights. It would have been horrifying because it's hilarious, but it's also, it'd be horrifying for a kid in single digits back in the day.
Nice.
So The Spell, it's on Tubi. I do recommend it, especially if you're a 70s kid like myself. And so you can get off on the deckboard as well.
I like to be able to get off on something.
Yeah.
So if it's decor, I'll make it decor. Whatever.
And you can see Helen Hunt looking like she used to before the burn accident.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. Hunter.
Thank
I
you.
can't hear. What?
You guys have to fill me in. I've forgotten.
Is it my turn?
Yes, Hunter, please.
Nobody's ever come to me to get away from an awkward situation before. So this is, I feel like for episode 300, we have hit a fucking weird plateau.
There's one thing. There's one thing.
Oh God. Okay.
Our only rule is you can't mention Helen Hunt.
Our Fight Club. Helen Hunt is our Fight Club. You don't talk about it.
Oh Jesus, Chad.
Please,
All right.
Hunter.
So I was in the mood for some good old 70s nature hates mankind movie. And I said, you know what? There was a movie that back in the day, the full ad for the movie was on the back of every comic book. Jack, do you remember what that movie was?
If I'm
Give it a shot.
on the same wavelength with you, you're talking about
Kroll?
Orca.
Orca, yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
I'm not kidding. For like a year, at the back of cover of every comic book.
Oh yeah, they
full-page
advertised the hell out of that thing. It's a cool poster.
Oh, I mean, it is one of the best movie posters of all time.
I saw that movie in the theater.
So did I. It came out, I think, 70s.
Jeez, you guys must have been in the backhand cranking the projector.
Yeah, I remember we call them talkies.
We had the flip thing, so they would do a little chime, and you'd hit the thing, and the next frame would come up.
Put a penny in.
This movie has a killer cast. First of all, it's a Dino De Laurentiis joint. Mad props to my man Dino.
Dino,
he could make great crap. And my mother-in-law worked for him for a period of time in his importing business. It stars Richard Harris. Richard Harris is one of the best actors who's ever picked up a script and gone on screen. So
also look up Richard Harris's version of MacArthur Park on YouTube.
Yes,
it's the greatest song ever recorded.
It is. He also hung himself up by his nipples in a movie, like actually did it. Like the Native
what movie is this?
That's Keenan Wynn, by the way.
Keenan Wynn, the Winter Warlock himself.
Yeah, the great. Now he's not in it for long, but he is in the movie. You also have Charlotte Rampling, who I forgot how pretty she was way back in the day. Bo Derek before she was Bo Derek.
That's enormously talented Bo Derek.
Yes, and for a very brief period of time, Robert Carradine. He plays like one of the shipmates at the end, who comes out of nowhere, apropos of nothing, and then is gone quickly. But anyway, Richard Harris is a fisherman, an Irish fisherman. They're over in Newfoundland, and he hears that you can get a lot of money if you capture a killer whale and sell it to some aquarium. So he goes out to get one. Charlotte Rampling is all about. She's the nature conservationist, and she's telling him, "You're a fool, old man. You're a fool." He goes out to get a killer whale, and he ends up killing a baby. And the mother locks onto him and follows him back and destroys the fucking town and destroys his life.
Sounds like the plot of Jaws 4.
It does.
This time it's personal.
Follows him to the Caribbean.
What this whale does to this town is absolutely amazing. I love this movie. I don't care how cheesy it looks. So some of the killer whale stuff is actually good because killer whales don't look real to begin with. So it's hard to make one that doesn't look real. You know,
killer whales don't look real.
They don't. They're just very shiny and have like these like rounded planes. There's not much really. They all look the fucking same.
They're easy to make a puppet of.
Is this the poster you were talking about?
No, there's another one where he's leaping across this ship. Go right there.
The one lower.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one right there.
That's cool.
Wow.
That is a cool poster.
Yeah, that's one of the. I got to get that. I have the King Kong with the Twin Towers. Downstairs.
This guy's got some serious big dick energy going on here.
He does. Big spear energy.
Drew views. Cha-ching, Drew views.
Yes, thank you, Drew. And for that, I'll keep talking.
Wow, Drew views coming through. Thanks, buddy.
Bo Derek.
Hunter, you're making money for us. Go.
I'm trying. Bo Derek does not look like the Bo Derek that we know. She looks very young in this.
About a 7?
She looks like about a 7. Yeah, she's not a 10 yet. And something happens to her with her leg in a cast, which is, as a kid, I was just like blown away by that. But it's kind of becomes like a Frankenstein movie because in Frankenstein, remember, he travels to the Arctic to find the monster. Well, Orca leads them to the Arctic for this final confrontation. This movie's freaking. It's freaking.
I was probably 12 years old the last time I saw this, and you are making me want to watch this in the worst way.
Same.
It's look. You have great actors. You have a thin, impossible script, but it doesn't matter. It's just a ton of fun, and you don't see this anymore. Like if this got made now, it would look like what was that movie Ouija Shark? That's what like there'd be the level of Ouija Shark.
Santa Shark.
Like you wouldn't get Richard Harris to do your movie. Like who would be Richard Harris now?
Or they would make it tongue in cheek. It wouldn't be a sincere attempt at making a good monster movie.
Right.
Or you'd have CG orca, and it would just
Oh.
look like ridiculous.
Dude, the orca, like when his eyes get all red and you see him staring at Richard Harris, like, oh, dude, you are screwed. You should just run as far into the interior as possible. So
I'm trying to remember, how far into the movie is it when Richard Harris has his arm over his head and he's yelling Free Willy and the whale jumps over him?
That might be in the outtakes, but you can't find that on
see,
Amazon.
I remember that one.
So I rented it on Amazon for like $2.99. How I don't own this movie is beyond me, but I have to fix that. I gotta.
It has to be on Blu-ray, right?
Definitely. I mean, come on.
All right.
Look, Norm, father, can you sin against an animal? That's right.
Father.
There's some great lines in there. So yeah, I encourage everybody to watch Orca. It's worth it.
Timmy, did you watch anything?
30 years.
Oh man, I haven't really been watching too many
Or read
things.
anything? Or
Yeah, I've got a few things I can talk about.
You watched Twin Peaks?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've mostly been binge watching Twin Peaks. Doing
how's it hold up?
This is my first run through. I've never actually
Oh.
never seen it in its entirety. I've tried several times over the past like decade to get through it. Nice.
Look at that.
And I've only gotten like halfway through the first episode. I think one attempt I got like 2 episodes in and I just kind of stopped. So I never finished it before. So I got past the first couple episodes and then I got really hooked into it, and then there's kind of like a lull, but I finished the first 2 seasons. I'm on season 3, the one that they did like 5 years ago or whatever. I'm like 3 episodes into that. So
Did you watch Firewalk with me?
yeah, I did. I watched that before. I watched it after the season 2 finale and before I started season 3.
Well done.
So
Well done.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's like right up my alley. It's very 90s. Very 90s. It feels like a soap opera kind of.
Yeah, it is.
But like just like a strange, bizarre soap opera. And of course I love all the dreamy, trippy stuff. Like that stuff is great. Season 3, I'm only a couple episodes in, but they really lean heavily into the dreamy, trippy stuff, which I thought I was gonna like, but I don't know. I think I got so used to the stuff in season 1 and 2. Like I was kind of looking for that same kind of vibe, and it's totally different. So, but I'm still enjoying it. So
Totally different feel. And I remember watching it, being really excited, and then being really upset that Agent Cooper was not in it for a while, if you know what I mean. Like
he's in it, but it's all dream sequences. It's really weird. I have no idea what's going on right now.
well, I mean,
Like,
he's in it more. I mean, because he plays a couple different characters. You got
Yeah.
the Dougie and then the evil Cooper.
yep.
But I wanted to see like bubbly, Agent Cooper, the one
Yeah.
from the
The one
first 2
hopped up
seasons.
on caffeine all the time.
Yeah.
I
I've
liked
never-
that show when it first came out, and then my parents ruined it for me because they got so into it. I'm like, oh, if they like this show, this is horseshit.
That's just you, Hunter. You do that with everything.
I am a contrarian, but this is my dad coming hot off of like loving cop rock. I'm like, well, if anything he likes, I'm out. I'm done.
I was not really tracking with that show when it initially was on, but Morgan was really into it, and so I think I saw the finale with the mirror at a party, and I was like, "Wait, this is Supernatural." So Morgan had like everything videotaped. So basically, he fast forwarded and showed me all the important stuff. So I have like the Reader's Digest version of Twin Peaks, and then we saw Firewalk with me, and I was like, "What the hell is going on in this movie?" And I have not seen anything since then. But
You got to go back, man. You got to go back and start with the pilot and watch
I
it
don't
all.
know.
I love Twin Peaks.
If you
I've only
glimpsed
seen an
David
episode or
Lynch's
two of
head, it would be like Medusa. You would turn to stone. You'd be horrified and turn to stone. If
I
you
would
could
probably fall
glimpse into his
asleep.
psyche.
Weird David Lynch stuff just puts me to sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I'm not a huge Lynch fan, but I have grown to appreciate his work, and like super creative, and he's just like unique. There's nobody else like him.
Yeah, there isn't.
His stuff
I
never
just-
really connected with me, but you mentioning all the dream sequence stuff definitely makes me not want to watch it because I think that
Yeah.
would drive me insane.
Well, Jason, I told you a couple years ago, you have to at least see Blue Velvet because it's really
Yes.
straightforward, and it's maybe his best one.
It's
I
amazing.
like. What about like Mulholland Drive?
I've seen
that. Like one of his more straightforward ones.
No, that's
That-
all. That's crazy.
What
That's-
was
It's
the one
crazy,
with
but
Patricia
it's-
Arquette on the Lost Highway.
Lost Highway's
Yeah.
weird, dude. That one's really
Robert
weird.
Blake, rest in peace.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
Yeah, maybe Blue Velvet. Also, like Wild at Heart's not too crazy.
Wild
It's
at Heart.
crazy, but it's
Wild at
not
Heart
like,
might be my favorite Lynch movie.
yeah. Watch that one if you want to see like Nick Cage, like at one of his crazy.
At his best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now you're selling me.
Embracing him.
But dude, seriously,
cageness.
If
Yeah.
you want to see Dennis Hopper at like his absolute best, craziest,
Yeah,
most.
Blue Velvet.
Oh man.
Yeah, Blue
You gotta see
Velvet.
Blue Velvet.
All right.
Blue
I
Velvet
just
again.
brought it up here.
Going back to the days of Morgan, there was 2 movies in my life that Morgan sat me down so I could see the movie, and then he watched my reaction to it. Blue Velvet was one of them, and Pink Flamingos was the other.
Oh,
God.
gosh.
Oh,
Jesus.
no.
He just wanted to see your reaction to that last scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Wow, with
I-
friends
I-
like those.
I took my girlfriend, who's now my wife, to see Blue Velvet in the theaters, thinking it was like this 50s like doo-wop movie. Boy, were we shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I loved it.
I need to watch Blue Velvet and River's Edge. I haven't seen those since like the 90s.
River's Edge
That's
is
a
playing. I think,
that's a
at the Alamo
great
right now.
Hopper double feature.
Yeah, that
Right
is
there,
a good
man.
double feature.
What'd you say, Hunter?
Frickin'- I think it's playing at the Alamo soon.
Oh, really? Oh, let's go.
Yeah, let's go dressed as Feck.
Katie Clark
gotta bring-
Clown. Katie
gotta
Clark
bring your-
Clown.
You got to bring your doll.
Yeah, exactly. Might have one up here.
All right. So Twin Peaks. Anything else on that, Tim? Or
No, that's it. That's. I have a book.
By the way,
I don't know how
C.
many
Farmer?
we're doing, but
Match and Amick.
We'll do it as-
I agree with you.
Jason, you got anything?
I did watch a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't mention it, but I watched Misery again. It had been a long time.
Ah,
Dude, I forgot how freaking good this movie was. Like, I remembered it being impressive, but that scene with the feet and the hammer really bothers me.
mm-hmm.
Like, that really freaking bothers me to watch that.
You know what's
And-
crazy? It's like they don't even show anything either. It's still like, ugh.
Real quick, probably 10
see
frames
us look up,
of one ankle, and that's it. But the build-up is very intense, and her acting in it is really incredible, particularly because she's reading some of those weird Stephen King lines he always puts in, like cock-a-doodle and shit that like nobody would ever actually say.
Yeah.
And she's saying some of these lines and pulling it off, and it's just what's his name,
James Caan.
Khan. He plays it so well. I just thoroughly enjoy this movie. I don't know why it had probably been 15 years since I'd watched it, but
Oh,
damn, is that a good movie.
James Caan's personality just is so perfect for that guy.
they had
Yeah.
such a hard time with him
Yeah.
because he's a high energy guy, and like you got to be in his bed for most of this movie, and he was driving them crazy on the set.
Really.
Yeah, he's a complicated man.
He also played a non-annoying author, which is very difficult to pull off, so I got to give him credit for that too.
Only not
He's in a
annoying
great
because there was someone
horror
crazy around him.
Well, when I
He's in a
see
great
James
horror
Caan, the
movie
first
called
thing I think of is
Good
Sonny from The Godfather. So during Misery, I just kept going, oh, if you can just reach a garbage pail lid, you can just beat the hell out of this woman and leave her in the street.
What were you saying, Chad?
I
Chad,
was
what were
just
you
saying James Caan is in a great movie that nobody talks about called, I think it's called The Good Neighbor.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
The Good Neighbor.
That's
not
not where the
recent.
kids pretend to haunt his
think I'm
house or
lagging.
something.
The Good Neighbor.
That's where the kids pretend to haunt his house or something like that.
I gotta look that up.
Chad,
I think he's
Chad?
lagging out.
Oh, did we lose him?
never
That's
mind.
Jimmy
That's better.
Caan.
We're all better off.
Yeah,
There he goes.
I
now
think
the
that's
show
a,
will pick up.
Helen Hunt won't want to kill us now. Have you guys ever read Misery the novel?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's so much worse.
No.
Worse?
No, I mean like the violence.
Oh, the violence,
yeah,
yeah.
much violent, more violence. But I'm just like, it's such a it's like a good book for writers to read because like in between the chapters are like the actual manuscript with like edits and stuff in it. It's kind of like almost a like a how-to or like like a book on editing what inside the novel. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I like it.
It's a great book. By the way, Michael Clark saw Misery on Broadway, which I did not remember was a thing.
Me neither.
No.
Starring Bruce Willis and Laurie Metcalf.
Wow.
Metcalf would make a great Annie Wilkes. Oh my God.
Did you guys watch Castle Rock, like the second season?
No, but I
on
think
Hulu?
it might be on Hulu.
It's
I
on
didn't watch
Hulu.
the first one yet.
They're like, it's kind of like anthology, so you really don't need to watch the first season to watch the second one. It kind of ties back to it, but loosely. But so like Castle Rock incorporated a lot of characters from.
Is it Lizzie Kaplan?
Lizzie Kaplan plays her and does an amazing job. Like,
I love her.
Kathy Bates is Kathy Bates. She's like on her own level, but like Lizzie Kaplan does a phenomenal job, and it's really worth watching just for her performance.
Hunter, if you like Lizzie Kaplan, I'm watching Party Down on.
Oh, Party
Hulu.
Down is great.
Watch Party Down all the time.
Party
Okay.
Down is the best.
I'm in season 2 right now, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't seen this before.
Whenever I watch Cloverfield, I'm like, I would do everything I could to protect that girl. She would not die on my watch.
Cloverfield had it was kind of like Joss Whedon. Always had the greatest casts in his movie. That movie.
That is one horror movie that doesn't bother me, that everybody is gorgeous. Men and women. They're the prettiest people you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
And normally that takes me out. I'm like, oh, fuck this. But that's the one movie I really like.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is. There's two good, and then there's that space one.
Yeah, that space one was weird.
God,
Swing and a
so
miss.
Disappointing, but didn't they drop that like as a surprise,
Bowl
like during the
Sunday.
Super Bowl? They're like, oh, by the way, new Cloverfield movie tonight on Netflix. Yeah, that was
Wait.
Yes.
It did such a great job of destroying that franchise.
Something else will come out of that. That
Didn't
you got 2 excellent movies out of 3?
Aren't they making another one? I feel like
I hope so.
I think it was like talked about, but I don't know if they're actually going to. I wouldn't mind another like found footage style because that really worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see another one of those. That just that space one. Jesus Christ. Cloverfield Paradox? Is that what it's
I
called?
don't remember a single frame. I watched it that night because I was like, oh my God, Cloverfield movie at midnight. I'm staying up and I'm watching it. Don't remember anything about it.
I just remember
Couldn't tell you
halfway
one single thing that happened in that movie.
Halfway through that movie, just going, oh no, oh no.
Let me put in 10 Cloverfield Lane again.
For real.
Let me get
Hunter and I saw Cloverfield together. The original.
We did. That's right. Did we see that in Stanford?
I think we did.
One of our lunch periods.
Might have been one of our long lunches.
We had quite a few of those.
I remember like the marketing for that movie was like nobody knew anything about that movie until like the day it kind of came out. Like
that was like
it was like a found footage disaster flick, but we didn't really know what. And like I remember I was working at the theater, I think, at the time. And I remember we screened it early, and we were just like blown away by it. Like it was just we had no idea going in.
Great movie.
You were a projectionist, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, what do they do? Just stick a Blu-ray in and walk away?
Pretty much. It's like they basically like stream it, kind of almost.
I know what the Alamo.
Cloverfield was like the next great Blair Witch marketing. They had like fake news stories and things you could uncover, and like if you did see something, it was like a glimpse of something underwater or something.
Yeah, they had a great marketing leading up to it.
Yeah,
and followed with a great movie.
Well,
speaking of great movies,
I went to the theater and saw 65, the Adam Driver dinosaur movie.
Very excited about that.
4 digits short of what I wanted to see. So, what do you think?
The premise of this movie is told up front I can't believe they just tell it up front. But
It's
I'm
so
gonna tell you-
stupid. That should have been such a twist.
Yeah, it's 65 million years ago. People from another planet who look like humans crash land on Earth and encounter dinosaurs in what I was hoping was going to be the next great dinosaur movie. Adam Driver and a little girl trying to survive against dinosaurs. The report back for me was meh.
Oh,
That's what Shane said, and I thought this looks like a mindless Shane movie. And he was like,
I can't believe...
He goes, I got like a father-daughter movie. What the fuck?
Yeah,
So mad.
it's got The Last of Us or Logan with the, guy and the little girl, thing going. But there's, you don't when there's not dinosaurs in play, it's kind of slow, and even the dinosaur parts aren't as interesting as I kind of hoped they would be. They're okay, like I would suggest it's not a terrible movie or anything like that, but it's kind of like Cocaine Bear, where I was hoping for, yes, the next great horror comedy, insane. Instead of like, that's all right, well, and then this same thing, I was like, I really wanted to walk out of this being like, I can't wait for the Blu-ray of this.
I'm still excited. Anything with dinosaurs is obviously going to.
Yeah, I would just say you don't need to go to the theater for this one. Wait till it comes to cable. Watch it some night. You'll enjoy it, but it's not going to be one of these ones, I don't think. At least for me, like I said, it's just okay. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's just kind of meh. And I was hoping for a lot more. When I heard the premise of this, I couldn't believe I walked out going, how was that movie kind of dull? Maybe it's because it's kind of Sci-Fi Channel level plot, and not that I was expecting much, but now again, this whole thing, they could have done a Planet of the Apes like reveal at the end, like, oh my god, it's Earth. That would have maybe made it a little more interesting too. And there's some hokey stuff naturally in this movie.
No way.
I know. Can you believe it?
Keep in mind, I scour Tubi for like all those awful dinosaur movies that were like the CGI looks like it was done in like the 80s.
Oh my god.
I can't get enough of them. They're horrible, awful movies.
Check out Rise of the Dinosaurs.
I've watched a bunch of. I don't even remember the names of them after I watch them. But
I think I have Rise of the Dinosaurs bookmarked as a movie to watch.
There's like so many. Like there's literally probably like 100 of those movies on TV, and they're all bad, and I can't get enough of them. So it sounds like I'm gonna love 65.
Again, I didn't hate it, but I was just like,
yeah. You and Shane, you gave the exact same review.
So yeah, like you said, it's the same review every one of us and everyone I've talked to gave Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. How about this? Don't talk. Just land, fucking fight things. Have things chase you, die, end of movie. Perfect.
Listen, if we ever do it as a movie, I'd love to talk like where I would improve the movie, because there's so many places you could. But Adam Driver is so good in so many things. Did you guys see the Dead Don't Die? It's a weird movie. He's so great in that movie.
I don't think I saw that. Is
That's
that the Bill Murray movie?
That's a Jim Jarmusch one.
Jim
right?
Jarmusch.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Jarmusch fan.
My suggestion is you could wait for, unless you have like the pass where you can go to the movies every, like, I think, Jason, you have one of those, and you're looking for something to watch. Yeah, go see it on the big screen. The dinosaur part's okay. But
I'm surprised like the story was just mad because it was done by the Quiet Place guys, right?
Yes. It lacked that Quiet Place.
Brought to you by a guy who did a rewrite of A Quiet Place. Who knows what they really did? It's so crazy.
Yeah. So, does anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
I'm good.
No,
I'm good. I'm good.
I want to get to the same feature.
Yeah, let's just talk about this.
Let's get on board our little lifeboat, go out to sea.
There's so much to talk about.
And get ourselves to the island of Dr. Moreau.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Now, before we get going, I know that Chad, you like your Tubi movies. I just want to let you know that I did the most important Tubi viewing of all. I watched the original Island of Dr. Moreau from the 70s with Michael York and
Not
Burt
the original.
Lancaster this week. So
Not
I
the
was up to
original,
speed.
son.
What?
The original.
There's like 6 of these that were
The
done,
original
like,
is
before that.
Island of Lost Souls. I know.
All right, there we go. There's really 3. Now there's 3.
But
that
you
we can
can't
count
watch
this.
Island of
Well,
Lost
there's like
Souls
5 or 6
on streaming.
versions.
There's 2 that are kind of like there.
They're
I
like
would say
kind of rip-offs.
your canon are Island of Lost Souls, the 2 Island Dr. Moreau's, and then Lost Souls, the documentary on the making of this one, which is
the best out of all of them.
Oh my god, I watched it right after this. I hadn't
So did
watched
I.
it in a while. I love that.
I watched it like a year ago, so I watched like a couple of YouTube videos to remind myself of stuff.
I can't
Now,
wait. I can't dive in.
having said that, this movie, and we'll get into it, has such a backstory to it. Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, Veruca Salt, or whatever the hell her name is.
Veruca Ball.
Jesus. Now, again,
the
I'm
guy,
gonna let
the
other people.
shipwreck guy who.
I'm going to let other people talk.
Someone else.
David
But
Willis.
one thing that struck, there was a couple of things that flooded my memory when I started watching this. The number one thing was when the Craft came out, Fairuza did not do much for me. She was the scary one. And it might have been this movie that I was like, whoa, she's hot.
It's the best she ever looked. She was really pretty in this movie, but
So-
also embodied the Panther Woman from Island of Lost Souls because
Yes.
she looks feral. Like Farouz on a good day looks feral. So she
Yeah.
was. It was perfect casting.
I
there.
can't believe she'd ever played like a vampire. This
There's
is the
still
closest.
time.
Yeah. She'd
So
make
anyway.
a great vampire.
All right, since I've been blabbing, I'll just say this: the Island of Dr. Moreau, the 70s one, was one that I did not see till later, but I saw in books a lot, and I was always like, "What's up with the werewolves in this? Like, what's going on? They're like blonde and everything." And then I never really saw it start to finish. I would see part of it and everything like that. So it was always this oddity of a movie. So then the Marlon Brando came out, and it was just the shit show that we'll talk about now. So I was really glad because I don't think I've seen this since the 90s. And Hunter, you just watched this recently, or did you watch the 70s one recently?
So here's like a couple of months ago, I watched the 70s one
That's
on Tubi, and then Svengoolie played Island Lost Souls like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
So I have been fully immersed
Because you
in
can't
Island
find that
Dr.
one
Moreau.
streaming.
You can't?
No.
Oh,
I
I have
looked.
the Blu-ray or the DVD somewhere in this
I'm going to
house.
borrow
I don't know.
it from you.
Yeah, Charles Lawton. Come on.
All
Charles
right,
Lawton, by the way, was supposedly gay, and his beard, his wife, was Elsa Lanchester, the Bride of
Oh.
Frankenstein. A little trivia for you.
Very nice. So, Hunter, why don't you just go first? We'll go around. Give us our 1,000-foot view of this movie.
Okay. So I read all H.G. Wells as a kid. I was a huge fan. My dad gave me a big book of like the collected stories. And I did go see the 77 version when it came out in theaters. My dad took me, which I loved. Absolutely loved. Michael York, Burt Lancaster. You've got great Dr. Moreau's. You've got Charles Lawton, Burt Lancaster, and Marlon Brando. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to go by the book, Burt Lancaster was probably the closest to the book. But man, when you get pasty face, kabuki, ice bucket hat, mini me, Marlon Brando, I don't think there's another more cutting figure in film than what the hell was going on there. This movie, and Tim alluded to it before, like if you watch Lost Souls, the documentary, it's almost the making of it makes you appreciate the movie even more.
It does.
But when I saw the movie itself, I went to the theater to see it. I loved the effects. Stan Winston did the effects. I thought they were great. it got right down to they built a bigger world, but you could tell that everybody who was working in there had gone native. I mean, they were all insane. Like Val Kilmer, from the first scene, you go, "Oh, this guy's nuts. He's so far up his ass. He's doing anything he wants here." And then you get Marlon Brando, who defines so far up your ass to come in later. I there are some concepts that can't be destroyed. Very few. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They've tried. Nobody can destroy it. It's no matter what you do with it, it's still good. I think Island of Dr. Moreau is one of them. I at least laughed from the little tiny.
What the hell was that sound?
Yeah, what was that? Who lost air?
I don't know.
Sounds like someone was being abducted.
Did Chad freeze and he's just railing lines of coke off his desk?
That was Chad's friggin' vape. That's what that was. But we couldn't see him doing it.
Did it blow up in his face and he's just frozen like that?
I thought he was just being very, very still.
He was glued to Hunter's comments.
Where's the vape go?
I usually just put the ping pong ball glasses on to make Hunter think I'm listening to him.
Ping pong, ping pong.
That was a huge bong rip, I think.
he might be dead or passed out.
Oh my God. Well, he took his ball and went home.
Maybe episode 301 is where we pick Chad off and bring Tim back. We'll see how this goes.
That was so bizarre.
That was so strange. And we all stopped like, what the hell? Because no one was doing anything.
Sounded like he was abducted, like the aliens came down and like put him in the tractor beam.
I had a Hershey kiss in my hand. I had a Hershey kiss in my hand, and I was like, that can't be the wrapper to this candy making that noise.
Chad just got raptured.
Hey, you're alive.
That would have been sweet.
Oh man!
So, did you hear us?
When things go wrong.
You couldn't hear us?
We've literally been laughing at you for like 5 minutes.
Oh no!
Because you took a big hit off your fucking vape pen, but
It
you weren't
sounded
moving.
so weird. It sounded
Oh,
so
really?
weird. Yeah, like it literally sounded like you were being abducted by aliens or something.
David Lee Roth didn't scream. It would have scared the hell out of him.
Wow!
That was really loud.
Well, I'll just finish up in saying, I don't know if we're gonna if we'll call anything spoilers today, but I had a really good time with this movie, and more so once I learned of the actual shit show it was to make it.
Let's just get this over with. We're
It's
talking
almost
spoilers from
30-year-old movie at this point.
Do you want to hear what I have thought of it, Jack?
I do, but I just saying you could feel free to be spoilery.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Chad.
Go ahead.
Oh, all right. I wasn't sure who all went.
Now that you're cooked up.
After that,
Just Hunter.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
I thought I had seen this before because I knew that.
God damn.
I knew that that there was some controversy on set and things. I mean, with Brando and how he is or was later on in life, even with Apocalypse Now, I think he was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I thought
he's a real douchebag.
I thought I'd seen it. I guess I hadn't. I must have seen the 70s one, and I think I saw it when it first came out because I barely remember anything about it. I enjoyed it. I was entertained.
Whoa!
It's not something that I'm like gonna recommend or ever watch again, but I wasn't bored. I didn't know Fairuza Balk was in it, which is funny because I got kind of a thing for her, and my wife laughs at me and calls her horse face.
I don't think she's a horse face.
That's mean.
I think the
Vampire
Craft,
Bat.
the Craft, this movie and Waterboy, she is very hot.
Oh, Waterboy, that's right.
Forgot about that.
So, but I can understand if somebody doesn't think she's attractive. Maybe you're just catching her in a bad movie, bad day. I
Well,
don't
she
know,
looks
whatever,
like she'll kill you.
In the
there
Craft,
is
she's
that.
just so scary. She's perfectly cast as a scary witch.
Yeah,
I think she's hot in the Craft.
Wasn't
too,
she in
but
The
yeah.
Sopranos too? Didn't she make it to The Sopranos at one point? I think
She was
did.
good in American. Or she was good looking in American History X too. She was in the beginning of that.
There's a girl in Goodfellas that reminds me of that, like somebody who would be her sister. The Ray Liotta's girlfriend, not his wife, his girlfriend. And that would be the girl who plays that in Goodfellas always reminds me of.
No, it's been a while since I've seen that.
Oh,
one,
the
but,
girlfriend, not Lorraine Bracco. Okay.
Yeah, the other.
I know
one.
you mean. Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I'm a big Val Kilmer fan. I like some of his movies, like Salt and Sea, some of the lesser known ones.
Well, nobody on
And,
this set was a fan of his.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So, yeah, and just watching Brando and just knowing that this dude is just off his rocker, and like with the bucket head thing, being his idea, and then he wanted a big reveal where the whole time he's wearing it, and then or some kind of hat, and then at the end he's got a blowhole because he's a dolphin.
Oh yes,
And,
that would have been amazing.
That could have led into Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. It would have been perfect.
But
Just seeing him
people
like going
that-
in the water, shaking away.
people like that are surrounded by yes men, and people are afraid to say no to, and they're loaded with money, are hysterical when they do stuff like this.
If you go back and look into The Godfather, he had like his lines taped to other people's chests and was reading off them. And in this movie, he had an earpiece, and people were reading his lines. And then, like, supposedly, like a police report came over the radio, intercepted it, and he was like just reciting that.
Yeah,
it's like a
There's
sitcom.
a villager at large, stolen 5 coconuts.
Yeah, I don't think
1-800 cars for kids.
the guy had zero dignity.
Cars for kids.
But yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought. I thought that this was going to be really bad. I mean, the makeup was great, and I thought the hyena dude was awesome.
Yeah,
whoever played, and I wasn't sure until the very end. I didn't realize that Ron Perlman from Quest for Fire played the blind guy.
Sayer of the Law. Sayer of the Law in Island Lost Souls was Bela Lugosi. There's a lot of good Sayers of the Law, so that's a prime role right there.
Now, Jason, this movie is almost the poster child for So Bad It's Good. So, what are your thoughts on this movie?
This movie's a real piece of shit. Like it's it's shocking how bad this movie. This is like Hollywood gone horribly wrong. Where everyone on set's a dickhead. Nothing makes goddamn sense. The performances are so strange. So Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando to me are like exhibits 1A and 1B of the kind of shit I hate in Hollywood. Marlon Brando has so much talent, and he's so fucking lazy in every performance in the last 40 years of his career. It's mind-boggling. This man is listening to his lines being delivered in an earpiece, and he's still doing a passable job at times. He's so talented. It's unbelievable, and he's such a dickwad. It's just incredible. When he comes out, but he has all the white on and the hat, and he has the sunscreen on his face, but not on his neck. And he's talking about how he's allergic to the sun or whatever. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then I don't know what Val Kilmer was doing in this movie. I think he was playing at least 4 different characters.
He didn't want to be there at all.
He was mailing this one in.
Yeah,
oh
he nailed
my
this one in.
God. The scene where he's impersonating Brando
So great.
into a radio, and then he's fighting and screaming and then telling the other guy to calm down 5 seconds later. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I think Kilmer and Brando hated each other.
Yeah.
He must have gotten a kick out of doing Brando. I think he was doing that just to get
probably.
Apparently he asked him for permission before he did it, and Brando gave him consent.
Is this according
Brando?
to
I'm convinced
him?
had wet brain for the last 30 years of his life, and this was evidence.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've heard Val Kilmer talk about this and basically accept zero blame for anything that went wrong with it, which tells you that he either is completely delusional and doesn't understand how much he fucked this movie up, or he just doesn't give a shit. I don't know which one it is, but
well, the word on the street is that this was like the start of his decline, and that his reputation, around this time started. He was,
Well, the same thing happened with him on Batman Forever. He got run out of that franchise on a rail for being an asshole. So I think these two are probably what killed him.
And they came out like right back to back from each other.
Yeah,
so.
it's wild to see two guys who are so talented just flush it away.
Now, Kilmer was supposed to be the guy who washes up on shore, but then he wanted a smaller part because he wanted to spend less time there.
40% less time.
He gets second billing and third on the call sheet.
I saw when he was talking about how the director, who, by the way, John Frankenheimer, has made some great movies. I mean, Ronin has maybe the best car chase in any film ever. And I saw him talking about how the director blamed him, Val Kilmer, for fucking the movie up. And he's like, I died halfway through. I don't know how it's my fault. Like, dude, you died with 15 minutes left. Shut up.
Right.
You were god-awful this whole movie. That being said, the effects are amazing. I still don't really understand the story. The little shots at the end where they're showing real-life conflict as the guy's like sailing away on his raft. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Right, because in a way he did create man. They're just as animalistic as we are.
But damn, the creatures did look really freaking good.
Yeah. They did. Now, this movie was written by Richard Stanley and directed by until they brought Frankenheimer in to finish it and make something out of what was going on. Richard Stanley ended up being like one of the dog men, was it?
Yeah,
the Bulldog Man.
When he got kicked off.
He came back and was in makeup. And they were like, this is the one guy who never took his mask off in the punishing heat. I'm like, this guy's going to try.
He like revealed himself at the cast party or something.
Yeah.
And he even got complimented on his acting, like how well he was doing.
And at that point, the movie was so screwed up, like they didn't even care that he snuck back on set. They were just like, fuck it.
Because he wasn't supposed to be within like 40 miles.
Well, apparently, he burned all of his notes once they fired him. He was like, screw you, burnt all his notes, so they had nothing to go by, and then he just disappeared into the woods.
I would have killed to see his version. Because get to see
the
bits
art,
of what his plan was.
Yeah, the art looks fantastic, and he has like some sick ideas.
Yeah, it was so different.
The thing about this movie, this is so different from like, I don't know, the Shining miniseries where, Tim, you can say this is great, and we say it sucks, and we fight about it. I don't think. First of all, when you first watched this movie back in the 90s, you didn't know everything. So you were just like, what is this train wreck? But now with all the history of it, how can you not enjoy this like watching a car wreck? It's just...
How did they get it together? Like and make a semi-coherent movie?
Yeah, it's actually kind of impressive when you learn about all that stuff. I mean, when I watched this for the first time, I was 11 years old. So like, this is a perfect movie for an 11-year-old in the 90s. I fucking loved this movie when I first saw it. I think like I ended up buying it at Walmart in like the $5 rack because I think it went straight to the $5 rack when it first came out.
Yeah.
And oh man, I fucking love this movie.
Well, I had I had a moment in 2004, Boston Red Sox. Pedro Martinez befriended this little person, and they would bring him into the dugout and in the clubhouse, and he was like their good luck charm. And that was the year they broke the curse. Nelson De La Cruz or something.
Nelson De La Rosa. That was the guy.
So I flick on this and I'm watching it, and they introduce the family, and there's a little mutant guy, and I'm like, that's where I knew him from. That's Pedro Martinez's little buddy.
That's funny.
So I Google it, and sure enough, it's the same guy. That guy was like the Boston Red Sox little good luck charm in the 2004 run. You can Google it right now and see. He passed away a few years after that.
In the documentary, like apparently he was like a really big celebrity over there. Like he couldn't go out in public without being like recognized. Like he was like super famous.
Just wanted to get laid.
Come on here.
I feel bad. The person I feel worse for in the entire movie. Now remember, they were like the three servants, and they had the one that would read Shakespeare. Yeah. He was supposed to be Moreau's right-hand man, his mini-me. And he got beat out by 2-foot-tall Nelson De La Rosa because Marlon Brando loved him. And it's like,
make him dress like me. Make a little piano and put it on top of my piano.
Oh, that piano scene is so brutal.
It's amazing.
The two of them play the
it.
piano.
It's one of the most unforgettable scenes in the horror movie history. The two of them playing piano together. Come on.
It's a thing. My biggest problem with it is I hate wasted potential. And to see a $50 million movie with 2 epic actors and a killer director just shit all over the place is why. I mean, I also like train wrecks, so you know,
It was
there's
just a
that part of
doomed
it. But
production, though. I mean, Brando's daughter committed suicide like 4 days before he was scheduled to be there. Like,
oh, I don't even remember that. From
Yeah, he was out of his mind.
he was out of
drunk,
his mind
probably.
at that point. And they had a hurricane hit them like the first day of production, which delayed them like a week. They just had like everything that could possibly go wrong pretty much went wrong. And then you had Kilmer just being an abusive person on set. Like, apparently he stabbed one of the crew members with a cigarette in the face. Like,
while they were filming.
Yeah, like just like the craziest things that it's just a crazy production.
So
And that killer
Googled-
director was just the mop-up guy. He really wasn't the director.
I YouTubed and watched a couple of videos that gave the summary of the documentary because, like I said, I watched it a year or two. I watched the documentary after we watched Color Out of Space because I was so interested in Stanley. There's an interview with Veruca Salt where it's like 2 minutes long, and she talks about how she sat down with Brando and was like, "Hey, I was just wondering if we could talk about our characters and, you know, how they connect and whatever." And she said, Brando was like, "This is stupid. You're getting paid. I'm getting paid. Just don't worry about it. It's garbage." And she's like,
And
"What
he said,
about our
I haven't even
characters?"
read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine her like, "This is Streetcar Named Desire, The Godfather. Oh my God, what my big chance." Nope.
Yeah.
Put the ice bucket and leave me alone.
That's why all those people signed on. They wanted to. All of them. They were.
Oh.
That's what they were excited about the most. Working with Brando.
Yeah.
you broke up. Oh, working with Brando. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Honestly, I wonder how much it doomed him with Apocalypse Now. All the accolades he got for his performance, and he didn't learn his lines there. He's reading them off the ceiling, and then he just thought, "I'm just going to do this shit every time."
Yeah, might as well at that point.
Now the other thing is you have Brando, you got Val Kilmer who changes roles, and the guy from Harry Potter is the shipwreck guy.
Mhm.
Again, originally Bruce Willis was supposed to be
Yep.
the second in command guy,
And
Yeah.
James Woods.
James Woods, yeah.
Now that would have been interesting.
And then what's his name from Northern Exposure?
Rob Morrow was the guy who
Morrow.
got the shipwreck guy, was original
Yeah.
and filmed it. I don't know how they never explained how
he-
far he went into it, but
He begged out of it after like
Yeah.
it was dragging on. The funny thing for me is it seems like Val Kilmer took the smaller part so he could do less time, but the production dragged so long that he ended up like stranded there, and they were just the production crew was just having orgies and drug fests to pass the time dressed like freaking animals. Oh my God.
Totally, they all went native. That's what happened.
My favorite part of the documentary though is like in the beginning when Richard Stanley like kind of knew that things were going off the rails and like not working out. So do you guys remember the part where he like grew up and his mom was like a traveling witch? Do you remember that part?
Yes.
So his mom like practiced witchcraft, and so like when things were starting to go wrong on set, he called up his like old witchcraft buddies, and they performed like this crazy seance and like a blood pact with the devil or something to try to get the production back on track.
Yeah, and it worked.
It was the craziest thing.
Oh my
This is gonna sound crazy, but I think that if the movie were an hour longer or even made into a miniseries, it would have been a lot better.
It felt like an epic movie. Like it needed to be like
it felt too short. Like
it was 90 minutes. It was just quick.
If I had to watch Val Kilmer for one more hour of this, I would have fucking killed myself.
I would want to see what he does.
Yeah,
He was
I want to
so
see
unhinged
insane.
in this movie.
I want to see Marlon Brando doing Colonel Kurtz, but dressed like Dr. Moreau.
Dude, now you mentioned Kurtz. So H.G. Wells accused Joseph Conrad, who wrote Heart of Darkness, of ripping off Island of Dr. Moreau.
They had a falling out. They were like good friends, and they had like a big falling out.
And then Brando ends up playing Kurtz and Moreau.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fun.
That's amazing to me. And played them both pretty much the same way, with just more accoutrement as Dr. Moreau.
Chad,
And he died too soon.
I think you should make a miniseries of the island of Dr. Moreau, but now cast Val Kilmer in the Brando role. He's a mute, mad scientist.
Oh, we could do that.
Nicolas
talk
Cage
bad
gets stranded on the island.
Oh, Jason, you are so good at this.
Jack, I
10
have a
episodes,
question.
baby, hour apiece.
If you could be left alone with one of the Panther women before she reverts back, right? So you've got her pretty, maybe a little animalistic in the sack at this point.
Sex Panther.
Sex Panther. Are you going to go with Kathleen Burke, who played Panther Woman in Island of Lost Souls, Veruca Salt in this one, or Barbara Carrera in the 1977 version? Bond
She's a
girl.
smoke show.
Yeah.
What were the names again?
So you got Barbara Carrera, who was a Bond girl in the 70s. She did the 77 version. You got Kathleen Burke, very common name. Sounds like every woman named by my house. But she was known as Panther Woman in the original. And then you've got Veruca Salt here. What's it going to be?
Oh,
Well,
Sophie's
Chad, your
choice
name
over here.
is like Team Feroz or whatever. So
Yeah, I think.
yeah. I don't
Or
know.
or the dolphin blowhole.
I'm going to go Barbara Carrera. I mean, that's
Feruza.
You know what's great about the 70s one is we've got Burt Lancaster, who's got that really distinctive voice. So you're just like, wow, he brings a gravitas to this. And I know Marlon Brando has got a classic voice, but it's just so ridiculous. But also Michael York, who to me was always Logan from Logan's Run back in the day.
Yeah.
But now all I can hear is Basil exposition whenever he talks from Austin Powers.
right.
That was fun to go back and watch that one because there's no like necklace with the zapper and all that
No,
stuff.
that's just the law, man. And they were more definitive about the law. They weren't. The law was kind of fuzzy in this last one.
That reminds me. First of all, they say, "Are we not men?"
Mhm.
Which is the Devo album.
Right.
There's I don't know if they had it in the Brando one, but it's in the book and it's in the 70s one. The House of Pain is the
Back to the House of Pain.
which where the band got their name from this.
Irish rappers. That's right. The best. Yeah, there was no House of
Yeah.
Pain in the sec. That's the third one. They screwed up on the laws and the threat of the House of Pain, but he didn't need a House of Pain because he put a microchip inside you. So,
But apparently it's in your chest, but it's not under your rib cage. It's just above your skin, but there's
Yeah.
no bump or something.
well, it's
I don't even know where it was.
They kept pulling it
subcutaneous
out of the
fat in those
chest.
people.
Do you want to hear another funny trivia tidbit?
Yeah,
Do
Of
it.
course.
Due to Marlon Brando's infamous large appetite and dislike of Val Kilmer on set, he would request and eat large amounts of cabbage an hour before the scene started, and would fart on purpose numerous times in what was described as a foul stench that would annoy Kilmer.
Jesus Christ.
That's great.
I mean, that's awesome.
I mean,
Okay,
if you were going to assign a smell to Dr. Moreau, I think cabbage is perfect.
It'd be
Cabbage
great
farts
if
are
the
the
two
way
of them
to
did like the Odd Couple later.
go. Oh my god!
That scene where when they kill Brando and he's standing up and kind of walking around that room, you really see how gigantic he was at the end there. I mean,
Oh, he was a big boy.
my God, was he large?
Yeah. It was shocking when he died. He
Yeah,
died in
nobody
the
saw that
second
coming.
act. You're like, what is going on
Yeah,
here?
he
But
died early on. I was hoping for more of him. I wanted to see more blowhole action.
You
only
have
got
to
me for
really
2 weeks.
you can't watch this movie without watching the documentary or like the YouTube videos
No.
because like things like the ice bucket, when you watch it, you're just like, what the hell is that hat? But it's like the third goofy hat of the thing. So
Yeah.
But
So
then
funny-
once you realize that there's a blowhole story behind it, and that it actually is like supposed to be an ice bucket. Oh,
Because it was really hot.
when I was watching the movie and that scene came on, because it looked like they made everything else, all the props and stuff were really great, and then that hat was not made very well. And I remember I thought right away when I saw it before I saw any clips of outside from the documentary and stuff, I thought that had to have been Brando's idea. He wanted that on his head.
Oh yeah.
that hat looked like something that Hunter would have on his head at the end of some Monster Ben live taping that we did, like at a bar somewhere.
Yes, or at Chiller Theater at any point.
Yes.
In the day. You may catch me barbecuing the parking lot in April with wearing that hat.
With
I
the
gotta
ice
recreate it.
bucket hat. That would be great cosplay. We should just go as Dr. Moreau character.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like
It was
all
like a-
versions.
What are those guys? Not the Elks Lodge, but what's the other one?
The Shriners?
The water buffalo? Yeah.
We're the funny hats.
The Shriners with the
Shriners.
fezzes.
Okay.
The red hat ladies.
Well,
They got like the tassel.
I'm liking this idea of all of us cosplaying something from this movie at a con sometime.
That would be amazing. I'd be down.
I want to dance around as a little guy.
I'm going to be Farouk Assault doing the belly dance.
Whoever's going to get drunkest has to be Val Kilmer.
Oh, I'll be Val Kilmer.
Hey, you got to wear like the skirt too. He was wearing a skirt.
Jason, you're tall enough. Whoever's the shortest of us could be the mini me with Jason.
Oh, there you go.
I'll be Val Kilmer at the end when he's like just loaded up on drugs, pretending to be Marlon Brando.
Wow. And what about the fact that he like got all of them high too?
Yeah, like
Why? Yeah, why was that in there?
Well,
Because
actually,
he's
Richard Stanley
insane.
had that idea too. So that was
Yeah.
actually one of
It's
his
a
ideas.
it's a cool idea, but it wasn't developed, and it wasn't a problem.
No.
Have a problem, which I
Yeah.
thought was weird. It's just like it was kind of mentioned in passing almost.
Yeah,
well,
it's
they were
just, like, in
keeping
there.
them high to keep them complacent. I guess that was his idea, so
Yeah.
he could act out. And I think he was supposed to start sleeping with a lot of them, like banging a lot of the monsters and
They
keeping them high.
they
'cause-
implied that a little bit too.
Oh, with the pig lady making out with them before their shots.
Is the
Big man.
original story worth reading?
Yes,
It holds up. All right. I'm
everything
curious.
Yeah,
H.G. Wells wrote is worth.
This
it.
is the only
Wells
experience
holds
I've
up
ever had with
really well.
this story.
The Harry Potter guy who's the shipwreck guy,
David Thewlis.
David Dawes, seemed like kind of a lackluster leading man. And the fact that he has not come up in this conversation once may be reinforcing. What are your thoughts
He
on
was like
him?
He
like-
didn't come
I
up
thought
in
he
the
did a good-
documentary.
I
at
thought
all.
he did a good job, but he was like the fourth person to be cast in that role. He was just kind of like, "Oh, you're available? You're in there."
Well,
And
he
the
had
second person
He
filmed.
fits the suit.
Yeah,
he had no character. Shit would happen, and he was just like, "Oh,
yeah. He
Yeah.
was kind of he like was just kind of like there and to just go with the flow type of thing.
Yeah.
He didn't actually impact the story really at all.
no."
And then in
Maybe
in
at
the
the end a little bit, but
in the 70s one, Michael York starts to transform, which is fun. There was
Yes.
nothing like that with him.
No. I saw Michael York in the streets of Manhattan once, and me and my wife were waiting at a light, and she goes, "Hey, look, it's Michael York." He turns around and then runs against the light into traffic to get away. I'm
What?
like, and I shout out, "Nobody gives a shit who you are.
I love your peppermint patties.
It's New York. Nobody fucking cares." But yeah, I'll never forget. He dashed through traffic to get away, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be mobbed by my adoring public." I'm like, nobody cares, dude.
Jesus
that's
Christ!
hilarious.
All right. What? Any other thoughts on Dr. Ball? I'll just say, I've been meaning to watch this ever since Hunter kind of brought it up, and even going back and watching the documentary. So I'm glad that this forced me to sit down and watch it. I had a blast watching it.
It's
me
a
too.
fun movie to watch.
The documentary is
Jason's odd man
incredible.
out. The
Yeah.
documentary is amazing. Severin.
You
Films
really
put
have
it
to
out
watch
there.
that for before or after. For
Definitely
the full effect.
after. I feel like go into the well. If you've watched this, then you pretty much know everything that happens in the documentary. But I'd still watch the movie first and then go into the documentary, the fun
Yeah,
stuff. Because
Yeah,
they're
don't-
both on
don't-
Amazon.
Don't just watch the movie because it has its reputation for a reason.
yeah,
But once you find out more about it, it's like Jesus Christ.
it's actually more impressive because it's like, how did that?
I agree.
finished. Like with all
Yeah,
the problems.
you'd think it would be much more convoluted than it actually is.
Yeah, and it's actually
Well, they talk about it in the documentary. That what was his name? Stanley, the first
the
director?
first director, yeah.
Richard Stanley. Yeah, he had completely lost control, and that's literally why they brought Frankenheimer in, because he was an old school,
Richard,
shout at everybody director,
no nonsense
that they thought could bring it back together, and he did probably as good a job as anybody could have done.
Yeah. Let's not forget the head of the studio was Bob Shea, who was Lin Shaye's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the story about Brando going, let's fuck with Bob Shea. He's like, doesn't even know who Bob Shea is. They've never met, but he decides, let's fuck with him. I want to be that rich and just careless.
Real quick, before you get us out of here, have you guys seen the Val documentary on Val
I
Kilmer?
can't bring myself to watch it.
No.
I haven't watched it yet either. I was just curious.
Sad.
The slant on it, on some of these things, on some of these projects, but
I don't know.
haven't seen it. All right.
If it's sad, I don't want to see it. I got enough.
I heard it's
in my
sad.
life.
I'm sure it's very sad.
No,
Okay. Glad I could bring it down at the end. Let's go.
Yeah, I'd rather see a documentary where he's a douchebag.
Just watch Top Secret and think positive thoughts.
No. Watch Batman Forever. That's a good one.
Watch Salton Sea.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss
There
Kiss
you
Bang
go.
Bang is awesome.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
great
like
movie.
one of my favorite movies.
Watch Batman Forever. Look at Nicole Kidman. Then watch the AMC intro with her in the empty movie theater, and just go, "What the hell happened to you?"
She looks like a Japanese sex robot. She doesn't even look like a real person. It's so weird, man. I can satisfy all your needs. What would you like to watch? Is there a hole in the bottom of your popcorn?
It's the ice bucket.
It's under the ice bucket.
It's under the ice bucket. Oh, touch my blowhole, baby.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Tim, thank you for sanctioning this movie and joining us tonight. It's great to get you. I always value your opinion.
Yes.
325, The Haunting. Book it.
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
I hated that movie.
The 90s Haunting. I don't even remember it. I just remember hating it.
I remember watching it recently, and it doesn't hold up. I don't know if it held up then, but again, I was like 13 years old, and I was like, "Oh man, cool."
Yeah. Let's ignore the 13-year-old Timmy Meyer view because it was wrong.
No, if you don't like it, I don't know that
wrong.
we should do that one, because I like when you try to defend these movies.
No, I can't defend that one. That one's not good.
Damn it.
325, Greasy Strangler.
We did Greasy Strangler.
We've done
originally.
Greasy Strangler, so we need a sequel.
You should do it every month.
We should just do it.
What are your feelings now? We should do it from a walk-through wash, like car wash.
That's my favorite part of that movie.
With our giant rutabaga dicks.
I could probably find something that
Well, you got 25 episodes. Let's
nobody likes that.
Oh, that's plenty. Yeah.
Just pick a shitty 90s movie. I'm sure we'll find something.
I'll find something.
We know.
God bless you. All right. Well, happy 300th, everybody. And everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. Everybody who subscribes and all that fun stuff, thank you. And I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll let you know during the week. And,
if we do 300 more of these, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
300 episodes is absurd, guys. Jesus Christ.
This is stupid. Let's talk about how this ends. Let's get
pretty
Let's
awesome,
figure out the exit clause.
No way,
It's
man.
insane.
I just started.
Thank you, everyone. You guys have been amazing.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.